It's just going to be so nice to have a fresh place to come to. The design is very innovative, and I think it's going to be eye-catching to people.
I think the idea of a flexible worship space is just incredible. I really think that having the opportunity to have the different designs, that if we decide that we want to do something different on a Sunday, a smaller group or have a smaller gathering, that we would not feel so overwhelmed in this space. I think the new sanctuary is going to give us that opportunity even better.
What I love about this sanctuary is all the natural light. And it just feels very warm to me. And so I think that the proposed design maintains a lot of those elements. I want it to feel like a space that's welcoming, but still reverent, but that can be flexible for other uses perhaps, but that doesn't lose its sort of feeling of this is a sanctuary, this is a holy place, even though there might be, an event held in it someday that's, a ball or a fundraiser or different types of events. So I like that it can maintain sort of that reverent feel, but still be sort of more flexible than what we have now.
Well, I hope for not just a revitalization of the facility, but a revitalization of the participants. Okay, this is a shell. This is a structure building. But what it does is it houses, and it's a landing zone for people to come and meet and worship. And as somebody says, the more the merrier.
I'm very excited, of course, for the music side of it. Having been part of the music program for so many years here, we've always had sound issues, and just the view of what the sanctuary is going to look like, what the building is going to look like, everything is going to be so much more inviting. And I'm excited about the ideas behind it, that it came from people who are members of the church, that it wasn't, that their ideas are being incorporated into what is actually happening. I think that's all just going to be such a new and welcoming situation for us, and I think people will be excited. I'm excited when I look at the plans, so I think people will can really get behind what's actually going to be happening.
We spent so much time there growing up, in the youth group, Sunday schools, working in the nursery, just so many different phases of life.
I remember being a little tiny kid and looking up at the ceiling, and it's that, ceiling tile, and imagining cars were driving down the frame of the thing, and it was just a big highway.
I know. I feel like when I would come back to college, just sitting there and kind of redesigning it, and as the sermon was happening, I was kind of looking around, being like, what could we do to make this a little bit better, or
So you've been working on this project for quite a while. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I'm like, what kind of tile could we do, or could we replace that acoustical ceiling tile with something a little bit cooler? And I totally remember sitting there during the sermons and trying to pay attention to that, but also being like, what else is going on in here?
We were really thinking about I guess just the concept of just literally bringing people's eyes upwards. You're not going to look at that ceiling tile and get that heavenly kind of impression, but and working with something like that, then that's also, like Adrienne said, like kind of has that warmth to it a little bit as well.
I definitely think that it'll bring people's eyes up, but also make the space just feel a little bit more like finished. Like I feel like right now, like the ceiling, it just feels kind of open-ended, and like, there's just so much height there. People don't really look up at the ceiling right now. I think that the wood ceiling will kind of make the whole space feel a little bit more intimate, even though there is that added height.
I love the design of the ceiling. I think that is going to definitely make this a more warm feeling environment. I love that look.
I think it will be a way to show people that we like take pride in our space, that we, want to create a physical setting that everyone feels comfortable in, that is obvious that we sort of care about and have put time and attention towards.
Oh, I love the new thoughts on the chapel. I like the bringing in those stained glass windows, making that a little bit more of a formal environment for us, especially when we're looking at things like our visitations or the funerals and things like that. I think having that space be available for small groups, for small weddings, for just having a more formal space in there than we currently have. I think that's going to be a beautiful space that will get a lot of use. Oh my goodness, isn't that going to be wonderful? And knowing where to come in, having that covered portico is going to be great for all of us, and especially for the people who need to be dropped off and be able to get in easier. Our parking lot is a little bit of a challenge, to say the least. So I think having that space where people would not feel intimidated about driving up, letting someone off, and then knowing that that person is going to be able to navigate their way in and find the sanctuary easily, that's going to be great.
I'm excited about the renovations planned for this church. We sit in a prime area of Nashville. We have the capability of encouraging families to come to this church, a new generation coming to this church. We have all sorts of people moving into Nashville, looking for opportunity, and we are well situated to take advantage of that, particularly with this capital campaign, which will make needed renovations to the church and get us moving in the right direction in this new century.
It's a new century project. We're starting that second century of our life as a church together. And so kind of letting that newness then extend forward into our next chapter.
Well, we all have different talents. Some of us have the ability to give financially. Some have the ability to give of themselves. So what I'm looking for is everyone to contribute whatever talent they have to make us a better place going forward and to lead us into what you said is the next century. It feels like we're already well into the next century, but we've got a long ways to go. So again, just don't feel like it's just financial. You can contribute a lot through your talents, either by teaching, or a lot of people come here and work outside on the gardens. Whatever talent you've got. Music is a great example of that. The people in our choir who do such a great job. So I think everyone will pitch in. Hopefully we'll make it work going forward. I am excited about it. I think this is a great time for our church, and we've got limitless opportunity with the growth in Nashville, and where we are situated, we can take advantage of that.